Okay, welcome everybody to this Teams training. We will cover the basics and a little bit more of the application Teams for your field service. First, some house cleaning. I will ask of you to please stay with the mics off. And of course, feel free to ask any questions at any time. Just open the mic, share your question, and after the question, please close your mic again. And again, please feel free to ask at any time. This training will last about 40 minutes, depending on questions mainly. And the session is being recorded for later offline training. And regarding offline training, you will also have access to a learning platform that will include the same sections that we are seeing here today, and you can go on it at your own pace. I have two little puppy dogs here. These girls can become noisy. I have been talking to them, and well, I hope that they remain silent. However, I cannot promise that. Okay, so the content of this training is going to be first the basics, installation, login, sync, then getting your jobs, how to get your jobs, the job cycle, which is going to be kind of the main topic on this training. And at the end, we will see a little bit about troubleshooting. So installation. For installations, you will go to Google Play, enter Teams HVACR. And by the way, most of you guys will receive Teams installed in the device that is provided by the company. But in case you have to reinstall it or do a fresh installation, this is the way to do it. This icon and click install. Wait a little until it downloads and it installs, and that's basically it. You have installed Teams. You click open, and when you click open, you have the ability to log in. In the login, you will always find an initial disclosure because Teams uses your location, your GPS. And the reason why is that with Teams, we allow dispatching know when a job starts, when a job ends. We also keep track of your location for to find the closest technician to a job sometimes. That also helps with times and whatnot. So please approve that, the location, and that we will always disclose that we're using your location. To log in, just enter your username, password, and the company name. The company name right now is CRM for everybody, including Ron's and TechMec, but it may change in the new system. We will notify you of that. Once you log in, the system will sync for the first time, and this process takes a few minutes. And hopefully you can do this under Wi-Fi because there is a lot of information being synced. And this is only done once or every time you restart your database. Once it finishes syncing, the app will ask you for some special permissions. The first one is location. This one is the actual permission that you're giving. The first one was like a notification that we will ask for permission. And this one is the actual permission that Android will request from you. The second permission, it may seem weird because we ask permission to access your phone. And this can be allowed or denied. The only point when we use your phone, and we will see it, is because we have a button in the job where you can click it and the app will establish a phone call with your customer. If you don't want to allow this, that's fine. We don't do anything else with the phone access. And the final one is we will ask permission to record audio. And it's not like we're going to open the mic and listen to your private conversations. This is only because you will want to enter voice notes. And for the application to allow voice notes, you have to allow us to record. So that's the only reason why we ask for the recording permissions. Once you sync, this is where you will get all your jobs, and they should automate. If they don't, you can click Get Jobs, and that will have the app go to the system and pick your jobs. So we have a job here, and you will see all your active jobs in this place. You will see the customer name, the address, the status of the job, priority, and a brief note of what has to be done and the schedule date for that. We click there and we go into one particular job. The job has five main tabs: the details of the customer, the tasks that have to be done, notes, forms, and the wrapping up of the job. And we will go through each one of these. We will start with the details of the customer. And in this place, we have a couple of functions that I see that most people don't use. So briefly, we have all the details of the job. We have the name, the contact information. This is the button where if we had a phone number here, if you click here, that will establish a phone call, and that's why we will need phone permissions. If you don't have the permission enabled, or if we don't have a phone number, this will, well, of course, it will not work. Then we have the customer standing, the open balances, sales rep when that information is available, etc. And at the top of this screen, we have a button called Location History. This button will bring you everything related to this job, to this location, actually. When you click that, you will see all the work orders of this location, order by date. And when you click on any of these work orders, you will see the details of that work order, what was done, who did it, when was it done, etc. You can even go into the details of the tasks of this work order. You can see exactly which assets were worked, what was done, when was it done. You can even see attachments, pictures, etc. So here we're loading the details of a particular asset on a job order. So that's something that is very, very useful for you guys. The second, so this is here located in the top of the customer screen. And then we have this red button. When you click that red button, basically we activate the navigation from your current location to your destination. And for that, we use Google Maps. Basically, we open Google application, which you should have installed, and that will give you driving directions step by step to reach your destination. It will have voice. So right now I am in Miami, and going to Wisconsin will take me 22 hours. And it will show me driving directions step by step how to get there. Sometimes the address is not properly geocoded. The geocoding most of the times comes from Corrigo. So when that happens, well, you still have to, think about what Google is telling you, because if the latitude and longitude is not right in Corrigo, it won't take you where you want to. Sometimes the latitude and longitude comes in zeros from Corrigo, and we reverse geocode it. So we try to find the latitude and longitude. And we use for that Google Maps, which is probably the best one in the industry to get the location of a given address. But still, Google is not perfect, but I will say 99% is good. Okay, let's review quickly other sections of the job screen. You have the tasks tab, where you will find what you have to do. The notes, you will find all the notes of the job in the notes tab. Then the forms tab. Whenever we have a job with forms, you will find the forms here. And finally, the finish one. This is where you wrap up your work order. So let's start with the tasks. And the task is basically the most important side or place of your job. And this is where most of the time is spent. Here you will manage the assets. You can even edit and add assets to it. You can pick the asset for your job. You will see equipment history, the problem type, the description, and you will handle the labor and the parts used or needed and even purchased for this job. So let's see about the equipment. This is a very powerful section. You can here review the details of your equipment, even the history of that equipment. You can add an equipment, you can edit the asset, you can do everything here with assets. So when you click on the name, basically you will open that the list of assets that this location has. And when you click in details, you will open the details of the selected asset. Something that is important, every green field means everything is fine with that field. When you have yellow, it means there is work to be done. And when you have a red, means that there is an error. Most of the time you will find yellows and greens, meaning there's something to be done here or everything is fine. Let's click in the details to open this particular asset. You will see the path, the equipment type, the manufacturer, you will see the name, make, model, serial number, and you will see other information related to this asset. Last serviced on, who was the last technician to touch, who touched it, replacement value, total value, some pictures, notes, etc. As you all know, make, model, and serial number makes the day. So it is very important to try to capture the make, model, and serial number. For that, we have a very nice feature that uses artificial intelligence. And let me explain that to you. When you click on this button, manufacturer tag picture, it will allow you to take a picture of the tag of the asset. And so let's click that button. And at the beginning, it will ask you permissions to allow taking pictures. Please give it permissions. And then you continue and you select, and please focus very well, the asset, the tag asset. Take that picture. When you take a picture of the asset, we will show you this screen here. And what we do is the system will read the tag for you. It will not know what is model, what is serial number, it will not know that. I mean, it's not that intelligent, but it will, help you with the typing. Let's see how. Let's say I want to pick the name of this asset because it is here, Immersion Blender. So I click name, and this will open this window here, and you can select the immersion name or the Blender name. You pick the name. Then we click on model, and then we click on serial number, and I keep clicking here in this little white screen, and that will copy from the picture the data that you selected. You can also enter information manually here. It's not only automatic, you can also, for instance, I would remove the word model from here to just leave the model number. So that's a nice help. Also with the customer tag picture, you can take a picture of the customer tag and do the same thing. Let's pretend that I'm gonna take the same picture. I'm going to pretend that this here is the tag of the customer. So I select this section here. I'm gonna click here, and this will copy from the picture into this field. And now I have the tag number. And I can complete the rest of the fields. I can take up to 3 pictures of the asset. And when I take a picture, I can give it a description, and I can even highlight a section of that picture so that, I want to show, listen, take special attention to this. Enter any notes, any size of notes. You can, there are no limitations in the size of notes. Okay, so we learned how to view and edit an asset. And I said that we can also select other assets. Sometimes you get to a place where it has a lot of assets, and there is a way to pick a different asset. And this is important because many times dispatching receives a phone call from the manager of the store, and the manager says, hey, this HVAC is not working, and dispatching say, you have 10, which one? I don't know. And then dispatch just picks anything, and you have to arrive to the site and fine tune the equipment. You can look for equipment type. You can enter a free search criteria, be it name, model, serial number, make, whatever. This will fine tune this list here. And you can scroll through the list to pick the actual asset. When you pick the actual asset, the application will request for confirmation. And once you select it and confirm, that's going to be the new asset. You can also create a new asset. Click here in the new asset and complete all the fields that the form has, starting with the equipment type, then the path, name, make, model, serial number. As you know, the make, model, and serial number can be automatically picked from the tag. Even if you don't pick it from the tag, please take pictures of the tag, because that will certainly help the purchase department and all the guys in the back office for many tasks related to this customer and this asset in the future. So in this case, I am picking it from the tag, but you can just skip the picking and enter it by yourself, but please take pictures of the assets and of the tags. Let's finish entering this new asset here. As you can see, I can write down, save it. Good. As I said, when you pick an existing asset, if that asset has history, meaning if Teams finds that there are work orders that mention that asset, you will see this button activated, the equipment history. When you click that, you will be able to navigate through all the jobs that have been done on this particular asset. You can see the history, who did it, when, what, etc. Then you have the problem type. You can leave the one that dispatching put or enter a new one. And then you have description. Let me step back a little bit. In descriptions, you have a big box to enter descriptions. You enter your own descriptions every time. So you add a description, and then there is a wizard here that will help you complete the initial sentence. We want the initial sentence here always to be like a standard date, your initials, and then arrive to location, check with manager, all that is entered for you. And then you just enter whatever you are finding. And this can be as long as you want, no limitations. Okay, so we have seen picking the asset. You can review the history of that asset. You can pick the problem type. You can enter descriptions. And also you can take pictures. You can enter information about parts that you have used or you will need. You can enter labor, request a quote, or enter information to have the sales guy quote a given job. You can enter purchases and you can enter forms. Let's review that. For pictures, you click on the photos button, and this will allow you to enter an unlimited number of pictures. Again, enter a description of the picture. You can draw things above the picture, and you can zoom in, zoom out, and you can enter as many as you want. There are no limitations. You can even enter videos if you want. Then after you take your pictures, you can enter what parts are needed. And so for that, we have this section of the parts where you enter the part name. Hopefully you can find the manufacturer, model, serial number. So you enter all these details that the form is requesting from you, the quantity. And for many parts, for motors, we have some additional information. Other information goes here. Miscellaneous parts needed to complete this installation. Estimated time in hours. Equipment needed. You can add pictures and you can save. You can add as many parts as you want here. There are no limitations. Then you can also request a quote. When you find that something is more complicated than initially thought, what you do is you enter a quote. So parts to quote will start with a scope of work where you describe what you found, what has to be done. And this is usually when you find that, okay, this is going to be bigger than we thought. And there are many interesting things. You can estimate how many technicians you need, how many hours per technicians you will need, if this can be done in regular hours or not. If not, who should we call? Is a crane needed? The distance from the wall, the height, the weight. So you can define many interesting things about a quote. You can add parts that are needed from stock or other types of services or parts, the quantities, pictures, etc. And once you finish all that information, the system will compile all these details and will send a complete report of what is needed to the parts department or to the sales guy so that they can quote this. The next step is time entry. You can enter time at the task level. And the labor codes are going to remain the same that we have been using all the time. In fact, a little bit, we have probably dropped a few that were not used. So we continue with on-site overtime. We have a new on-site double time labor code. Then travel overtime, and travel double time labor code. We have parts pickup, dispatch, OT. All these are at times linked to a particular work order. Then we have non-billables, like tech non-billable, tech call charge, tech trip pay, PTO, holiday, sick pay. So the ones that are linked to your work order, you can enter them inside the task. And those that are non-billable, you can enter them in the time card module that we will see a little bit later in this training. So you pick your labor code, you fine-tune the date, the time, the duration, and then you can enter a note. Once you finish that, you can click save. You can enter as many items as you want or need to enter here. Okay, next part is stocks. Stock part, the use of parts. You can use stock parts, non-stock parts, vendor purchases, and spot purchases. And these options will allow you to enter all the information needed so that billing can complete the invoicing of this job. And this is going to work the same for every type of part. Basically, you click on what you want to enter, be it the stock part, non-stock part, vendor, or spot, and you just click that button, enter the information of the little form that appears, which is usually the name, the quantity. You will always be able to enter pictures. When you go to a vendor, you will be able to select the vendor. If it is a purchase of a return, you pick your vendor, you enter the receipt, you generate a PO, you can enter pictures of the receipt, of the part, etc. Unlimited parts, on spot purchases, as the same thing, you enter what you bought, a description, the total, and this is very important. If this is a purchase that needs reimbursement, please, please, please enter a picture of the receipt. If you don't enter it here, the office will ask you for that receipt picture at some point. So the best that you can do is always take pictures of the receipt and pictures of the parts that you are purchasing. When it is for reimbursement, please click yes. And if not, just leave it as no. And save it, and that's it. So you can always enter as many parts as needed. There are no limitations. And also, once you finish working on that task, you may find that there are other tasks that need to be done. So you can enter new tasks that dispatch didn't get. And for that, you have to follow 3 basic steps. You select the asset, you select the problem type, and you enter a description. So you click on the new asset and click asset, pick asset. You can search for that asset, pick the problem type, enter the description, and you can leave it there and the asset will be created, or you can continue with the rest of the process, which is basically adding labor, adding description, adding parts, requesting a quote, etc. So basically, this is it as far as tasks. Once you finish doing your task, you can enter additional notes in the Notes tab. The notes can be private or public. Click Add Note, and that will allow you to enter any note. Most of the notes are by default private. If there are any forms, you click, or if not, you can just go to wrap up your job. In the wrapping up, there is another section that is very important. If you used any warranty part, please select here, yes, I used a warranty part. When you click yes, the system will ask you additional information, like specific warranty parts that you used. And it will ask you, what did you do with that part? Are you going to bring it to the office, bring it back to a vendor, trash it, etc.? You can take pictures of that warranty part that you just removed. When you click Office, it will ask you for information of authorizations, the RMA numbers, or if you're going to trash it, it will ask you who is authorizing that trashing. You can enter as many warranty parts as you want. This is the place where you enter unlimited audio notes, maximum 5 minutes per audio note. Most guys will do with 20 to 50 to 30 seconds. You can check in, check out. If you did a check-in already, this will ask you for the checkout. You can always click on a record, and that will allow you to change, fine-tune the date and time. So check in, check out. Photos, you can check if you have enough photos of your job, and signatures. You can enter unlimited signatures. This is not looking well here in the recording, but it will be a full screen horizontal box for the note, for the signatures to be entered. We have a punch list to make sure that to help you, yeah, I got signature. In the case of some stores in the Woodmans, I think, or I don't remember, you have to take pictures of the 138s. And these punch lists are custom by customer. This one in particular has the 138 note, but others may have other things. So make sure that you complete your punch list. When you click on Save, you can just save it and continue, or you can complete or set it in needs attention. When you complete, well, you're done. Click Save, and the job will disappear. When you click in needs attention, click the reason for the needs attention. When that reason is a quote or estimate, it will allow you to review it. You should have entered it. If not, you can enter it now. Click Save, and when you click Save, that job will disappear from your jobs section. Okay, so that's for jobs. Now let's go to the time card management. You click on the main menu, upper left corner of the screen, and here in the time card module, you will be able to enter time on each work order that you didn't enter before. You can enter non-billables. You can adjust the date, time, and duration of each labor entry. You can review and adjust your weekly time card before submitting. You can read previous time cards, and you will receive a weekly report via email with all the details of your week's time card. You click My Timesheet, and that opens your week. You click the day, whatever day, you enter Add Time. You can enter a time, you pick the concept. You can go back in time to review time from the other days. You cannot modify past weeks. You can only modify the current week. You enter more times, and you submit. Once you finish, once you know that your week is done, you have finished everything, the hours square were your numbers, you can click Submit. And when you click Submit, this will open a box that will, where you attest that information is correct, and you send it to the back office. And finally, you can add a new job. To add a new job, there are 4 steps. You select the job type, the work zone, the customer, and enter the job tasks. To add jobs, you go to your main zone, your main work area, and open the main menu and click New Job. This will open this screen where you select the job type. Job types will change a little bit. We had a lot of job types before, but now we're going to have a reduced list of job types. Right now we have service HVAC commercial, service HVAC residential, and service refrigeration. In the future, you will only find 2 here that you can enter from Teams, service HVAC and service refri. The other types will be used by dispatch, and they will send you different types of jobs. Once you pick the service job type, then you pick the work zone. Work zones are going to change, and you will receive a map of the previous and the new. This is the old work zones list, but the new one is going to be different. We still have the old one because the new database is not released, but I'm going to pick training. Once you pick the job type and the work zone, you pick the location. You can enter any criteria to bring all the locations. And a recommendation is if you are going to pick a Walgreens and you just enter Walgreens, the application will tell you the list is very long. Please narrow it down. So you can enter Walgreens and maybe the city, or maybe a code, or maybe additional information about that Walgreens, so that it will bring less than 1,000 records. Once you pick the customer, you create the task, and the task is basically picking the asset. You can create a new asset if necessary. You pick the problem type, and you enter a brief or a complete description of the problem, and you click next, save, and save the job. You dispatch it to yourself by default, or you can save and continue. The number will appear as soon as Corrigo gives it a number. Okay, so that's it for jobs creation. And now we're going to the last part of this training, which is the troubleshooting. When the guys call me or with a trouble, with some problem, and then when that happens, it's usually I have not received my job. So I do my magic here and I send it. But sometimes it doesn't work. And it doesn't work because there may be an inconsistency somewhere. So what we do is we tell the technician, please reset your database. And to reset your database, basically you go to the main menu and click on settings at the end of the list. And then you arrive to this screen here. The first button says reset database. And when you click reset database, it will show you a message. Please read it. It will reset your database. It seems you will not lose any data. Do you want to proceed? Yes or cancel? So what happens here is that the application reviews all your data, your current data, and if it sees that if there is data not synced, it will tell you, don't do it. I mean, you can continue, but you may lose data. But if the application defines that, okay, all the data is synced, then it will tell you that you will not lose any data, you can continue. You click proceed, and that will erase your database, and that will go back to the login page, and that will go back to the initial sync that we saw at the beginning of this training. For any technical support that you need, you can contact us via WhatsApp. My phone number, you can contact me via phone. You can contact us via WhatsApp. That's probably the best way to reach us because there are more people looking at that WhatsApp group that can help. Or you can send an email to support@teams.us. With this information, you can contact, and whenever you have a problem, please let us know, and we will be more than happy to assist you. And that's it. That's the training that we had for today. We will provide a link to the online training that we have, and you can review all that we just saw in that training. I will copy it here in the chat. And when you go to that training, what I want you to do is enroll. It will ask you for your first name, last name, email, maybe your phone number, and then you can go at your own pace or go straight to specific points of this training. Okay, one said something about location history. How do I do it? You come here and you go to location history, you click here, and you will be able to replay the portion of this video that talks about location history. driving directions. I mean, everything that we just saw is in this training platform that we just saw, and that you can review it at any time at your own pace. Now, that's basically it. I don't have any more to tell you. If there are any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them. We are at the minute 40, exactly the expected time. So let's open for Q&A.